More softwares won't make you rich, but this will. All right, so I see all the time people asking questions about the different softwares that we use in our wholesaling business, whether or not it's a comping software or a lead generation software or a dispo software. And I get it. There's a lot to choose from. And so you can get analysis paralysis, right? You can start just signing up, using free trials here and there. Or you can also start feeling like, well, what's the point in using this software if I have that one? So here's what I want to talk about today. Softwares are a tool. Think about it like a screwdriver or a hammer. There's a meaning behind having that, but it's only as good as the person using it and learning how to use it appropriately. Now, I saw a comment the other day about investor base. And the question essentially was, so investor base is essentially just investor lists God mode. Some people said yes. Some people adamantly disagreed and said, no, it's much more powerful than that. Now, why would there be differing opinions? Well, to me, it's about the skill level that has been developed by some of the users using investor base. They feel like it's more powerful than investor lifts God mode because they've been using it and they figured out how to use it, just like a craftsman would learn how to use his tools. See, even in lead generation softwares, PPL companies, Speed Lead, LeadZolo, Property Leads, I get asked, why do you use 3 different PPL companies? Well, because we've learned a skill around each one of them and we utilize them differently inside of our wholesaling business. For example, Speed Leads Coupon Club. These are cheap leads. However, because they're cheap, there's going to be more people that are purchasing them, and the age of that lead is lengthier than an exclusive lead that comes in through either Speed Lead, LeadZolo, or Property Leads. It's a sacrifice that we're making for spending less money. Now, this is good for people that are tight on budget, but understanding which leads you're purchasing and why you're purchasing them. This is the skill set that you have to develop. If you just go into Speed Leads Coupon Club and you say, I'm now just going to start purchasing every lead, you would end up spending too much money. Your average cost per contract would go up. However, if you're intelligent about it and you develop that skill and you decide, I'm only going to purchase these specific motivations, these specific physical distress elements, and in locations that have a certain amount of buyers, that's where we see people succeed. When it comes to comping softwares, I'll never forget, first time we started using Privy, it was kind of like, well, what's the point in us having Privy when we were already using PropStream and batch leads for comping? Well, Privy had new things inside of it that PropStream didn't in regards to cash buyers. It also has just a different user interface that personally I prefer over PropStream and batch leads. So these are things that matter when you're looking at how to use softwares inside of your wholesale business. But if you just start racking them up, what ends up happening is your overhead for your wholesale business can become cost prohibitive. So here's what I want you to do. Decide which softwares you're going to use in your business and why. I always tell people, whatever you're going to do, at least give it a 90-day runway. Now, a lot of times we give you a 7-day free trial. That's fine. You can sign up for a 7-day free trial and really decide if it's something that you want to add to your business. But once you start paying for it, you need to give it 90 days so you can learn how to appropriately use that tool. There's a reason why we suggest using the softwares that we use, but you also have to personally develop those skill sets and explore to see if it's going to be a good fit long-term for your wholesaling business. Now, on the dispo softwares, whether it's Deal Speed, Investor Base, Investor Lift, these are some of the more costly softwares available for wholesale companies. Even on the cheaper side, Investor Base and Deal Speed, are still quite a bit more expensive than a comping software or even a lead generation software. So normally what we see is the wholesalers are only using one of these dispo softwares. Here's what I recommend. One, make sure you find someone that's using that software and either follow their content on how to appropriately use it or attend the webinars and the video trainings that are supplied by the company itself. VentureLift has great training around how to use their different modes, whether it's God mode, cartel mode, Artemis mode, and even now the free premium light, right? There's a lot of video training out there. They've even started adding AI to their dispo software, which is going to take it to a whole new level. That being said, you need to learn the skill on how to appropriately use that. Same thing with investor base. If you were to just look at it on a surface level, yes, it would look like it's just another version of InvestorLift's God mode. However, it does come along with skip tracing that is accurate, and some people have said it's far more accurate than some of the information provided by InvestorLift. The contact rate to these buyers is a lot higher. I've also seen people say that buyers that exist on InvestorBase do not exist on InvestorLift, which would be another reason why to have that software. To just add a software blindly without knowing why you're doing it can just kill your budget. So ultimately, our job as the business operators is to sit down and make decisions on how we're going to better service our business. So here's what I recommend. Decide what you're going to do for lead generation. If you're going to do PPL, start with one. Make a decision why that's the reason you're going to do it. If you're tight on budget, do Speed to Leads Coupon Club. If you have a little bit more of a budget, then you can move to something like fixed price mode or Lead Zolo and property leads. When it comes to comping softwares, pick one. Decide based off the type of markets that you're going to be in. Preferably, if you're in a non-disclosure state, I recommend something like Privy. I feel like it's more accurate. However, PropStream does have MLS access as well. Pick one comping software and stick with it. You're going to get better. You're going to get used to the user interface and also how to navigate it to get all of the information necessary to analyze a deal. And then when it comes to the dispo softwares, again, decide on one. Really, this should be a budget decision. If you're tight on budget, I would decide with either InvestorBase, DealSpeed, or the free InvestorLift version. If you're going to do the free InvestorLift version, though, you are going to have to spend money on renting buyers and getting that blasted out. If you're a little bit tighter on budget and you want something that's all-encompassing, that's where I would invest in DealSpeed or InvestorBase. Again, though, you need to make sure that you're able to stick with it so you can develop that skill over the long haul and really become an expert at using those softwares. One of the reasons why I feel like we've been able to sustain long-term success wholesaling is because we don't flip-flop between softwares. A lot of times what I see is people, they sign up for something like InvestorBase, and after a 30-day runway, they decide to move on with it, maybe because they even had to terminate a deal. And instead of looking at it saying, why did I have to terminate that deal? They blame it on InvestorBase. So then they decide they want to move on to DealSpeed or InvestorLift. More softwares is not the answer. You developing the correct skill sets inside of your wholesaling business is what's going to make the difference. Whether or not that's a skill set in how to talk to sellers, comp and underwrite, or even how to appropriately use that software that you're paying money for. Now, what I've seen more often than not is that it's a comping and underwriting issue and a not knowing how to use the software that you're paying for issue. Those are the two main reasons why they feel like something is not working. Now, when it comes to lead generation, it's either you don't know how to talk to sellers, you don't have a follow-up process, and you don't know how to comp and underwrite appropriately. Again, the reason why I'm always talking about how to talk to sellers and how to comp and underwrite is because normally Those are the two main issues why wholesalers are failing in their business. Signing up for another software is not going to be your savior. You developing skills is what's going to lead to long-term success. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you give me a like. We'll see you tomorrow.